Are you looking to intentionally meet some like-minded singles? Jen Mann started local group Meet at the Mirror, which is a curated community of folks in Austin seeking long-term partnerships. Where were you, Jen, 3 years ago? Okay, she's joining us here to tell us more about it. Good morning.
Good morning, Rosie.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to hear about what inspired you to start this group. You're kind of a semi-new Austin transplant, been here about 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're bringing this concept to us, but tell me about why you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I love this question. So, part of the reason why I moved here was I'm from Boston, and I was just really excited about like a new dating scene. And I feel like I share just a common complaint with other people, just like the dating scene in Austin just
tough.
feels very hit or miss. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the dating apps are really frustrating. Like people are really sick of the superficial conversations that don't really go anywhere. And so I've just always kind of missed the days where we would just like go out, like live our best life, like have fun. And then like maybe you see someone like cute or interesting at the grocery store at your yoga class, and you just like go up to them and introduce yourself. And so I just really wanted to create a more intentional way for single people who are looking for the same thing, commitment, to meet. And so initially this started as me just creating an event for a bunch of my friends, a bunch of my single friends. And it was a huge hit, and so we've done, I think, 13 events since then over the past year.
Wonderful. Well, it's growing, which is huge. And I think you make a really good point, is that kind of people used to sidle up to you at the bar. They used to say something to you in the grocery store, and I feel like we've all kind of become a little bit more insular or siloed. And so I feel like people just don't start up a conversation anymore because they don't know your status. So you've kind of given us the ability to say, okay, you're all singles here. Go out there and have some natural conversation, which is wonderful.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly the feedback that we get at our events, is that people really, really appreciate coming to an event just knowing that there are a bunch of single people here who are looking for the same thing. And so it just like takes away that activation energy to like just get to know someone on a deeper level and be more intentional about dating.
Absolutely. And what can people expect at your events?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of different types of events. So our key themes are intentionality, growth-minded, and we like to bring in a mix of play and depth into our events. So some of our events have some speed dating type activities in them, but it's way more fun than typical speed dating. So instead of people like going with the typical superficial questions like, oh, how long have you been in Austin? Like, oh, 5 years. Like, oh, at least you're not from California. Like, those conversations are fine.
You've heard that exact conversation.
Too many times. And so we actually give the guests questions. And they're like your not so typical first date questions, because we really want to almost like push the comfort zone just a little bit to get people just thinking a little bit more differently and more intentionally about what they want in a partner.
And you say push the comfort zone a little bit, so you do that in the speaking, but the actual event itself is very welcoming.
Oh, yeah. It's super like it's fun, it's playful. Like we bring in like some fun little activities and games. We've had pickleball events. We actually did an event this past fall that was an adult recess event.
Cool.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
And healing your inner child a little bit.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah, it was extremely healing.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to ask about anybody joining, because I know that to your point, there's intentionality here. You don't really want somebody who's in a situationship to just show up. So in fact, you have an application. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah. So we have a 5 to 10 minute application that people can find on our Instagram. And this application is our way of protecting the community and making sure that we're really bringing in people who are actually looking for long-term commitment, who are growth-minded, intentional, and are emotionally available. And so we have some very short just questions that I feel like give us some insight into like, are they in a situationship or are they actually really open?
The fact that you said emotionally available, you guys have really cracked it. Because sometimes you could have been single for 2 years, but actually you're not really emotionally available. So the fact that you're protecting, to your point, your community, I think is really important. You've got an upcoming Valentine's Day event. You've got another event going on in March. Why don't you tell me about the two of those?
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about this Valentine's event that we have coming up. It's going to be a cooking class,
Oh,
a
fun.
singles cooking class. So we actually did this same event a few weeks ago. It was a huge success. It actually sold out in less than 5 hours.
Wow.
We still have spots available for this one though, particularly for men. But it's essentially speed dating, but it doesn't feel like speed dating because you're doing something together. You're cooking together. So we have the men all trained on these stations, these cooking stations, and we have an incredible chef, Chris Washa, who is training the men on the stations. And then the women are basically rotating through, getting to interact with the men, see how they lead, see how they can hold space. And then we all come together at the end to eat this organic meal together, which was just so much fun.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And I like that you can see how well you work together
Yeah.
before you maybe even know each other all
You
that
learn
well.
so much about someone
Yeah.
cooking with someone in the kitchen, way more than you would learn about them just by looking at their profile on a dating app.
And something about working side by side without having to make dead eye contact for 2 hours at a steakhouse. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it gives people an opportunity to be more organic with the way that they're
Yeah.
starting conversation.
Yeah, especially in the kitchen. This last event, we had 36 people in the kitchen. So it is a great opportunity to see how someone can hold themselves under pressure and how they can communicate and teamwork. You see so much about someone.
That
in
is
the
so
kitchen.
cool. All right. And then the event in March, I want to make sure I bring that up.
So that one will be a singles community workout.
Okay.
So that one, it'll basically be a big workout with a bunch of people who are all single, and we'll weave in some opportunities for connection while you're resting in between sets, basically. So that's going to be a super unique opportunity.
Lovely. And just in our last 20 seconds right now, largely heterosexual people, 25 to 50, but you're really hoping that 2025 is going to be a growing year.
Yep. Our goal is to expand this year and be more inclusive.
Wonderful. Okay. And people can start that application where?
Yep. So you can find us on Instagram at Meet at the Mirror. And would love to see you at an upcoming event.
I hope you find somebody fun. This is so cool. All right. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate it.
Rosie.
This season of love, you can find yourself and find your match. Learn more by heading to meetatthemirror.com or find them on Instagram to start your application today.